These were the fascinating responses. Sheila posted, boycott Chick-fil-A, another company gone woke. Ricky Barbary comments, the problem here is this. 2020, the left said cancel, cancel, cancel. Now we are saying cancel, cancel, cancel. We have to have an alternative in order to boycott a place, or else we will just crash our own economy. So I loved this because this is like your first instance of cope is like, no, I really want to like live my values and not buy the woke sandwich and not be woke, but I'm so worried about our economy.
Like we're doing too much work right now with the boycotts. We're boycotting too much right now. The economy is, if this sandwich is not being purchased, then what's next?
Yeah, we just we need to buy something, folks. I love that it finally like occurred to them that they need to buy stuff, that their whole politics is based on their politics and identity is based on the ability to buy stuff. And it's like, I guess you're finding out about no ethical consumption under capitalism. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, you're figuring that out. I think that they should charge extra for the sauces myself.
Only if you're a Christian though, because you should be humbled. As an atheist speaking, I think as a Christian, you should have to be humble and get less sauces in your meals.
Yeah, I think you have to pay for the sauces is like your tax because sauces are just opulence. That's just that's gluttony. You don't need sauces.
Well, it's like tithing.
Jesus had sauces.
No, he could have made some if he wanted some. That's for sure, though. But he didn't need them, and neither.
And they didn't even invent sauces yet. Think about that.
It's true. Corey replies, I'm wondering if this is their plan. So crashing our own economy. I'm wondering, what you said made a lot of sense. We are going to crash the economy with the power of our dollar. But why?
Yeah.
Why would that happen? I'm wondering if this is their plan. I don't understand how businesses can watch another business make a dumb business decision and do then same thing. There is a reason. There's a reason all these corporations are going woke, Tony, and it's because they're trying to sabotage the entire economic system.
It's like they're like a kamikaze for the economy. Like if we tank, then the economy tanks. We have to sacrifice ourselves.
Yeah.
And we have to hire as many employees as we can so that when we go under, enough people lose their jobs.
That's also why they pay them better. Is because that's, obviously detrimental to the economy. So they're, they knew that like that's another way to bring us down is by paying us too much.
And they're not gonna be able to get jobs that are that good again. So they're only gonna make less money. Thus, it's just a downward spiral.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a chain reaction that's gonna sow the seeds of destruction of this country. Here we go. Kenny Mann says, I just saw an interesting video that suggested the left is using our anger to bankrupt American companies. Something to think about. The left, I think it's the left. The left is responsible for how big of maniacs we are, how maniacal we are. I think it's the left's at fault here.
That'd be so, like, I wish that was the plan. Like we've all just like infiltrated, corporations enough to we're just gonna piss everybody off so much that no one buys anything anymore. But like, in order for that to work, like we'd have to stop buying, sick pride merch, and that's not going to happen.
That's true. Well, looks like the CIA shot another homophobic ray at this right-wing protester. They hit him with the old hate minorities button. Gotta love it. Brandon replies, bankrupt companies, then government bails them out. Then they will be government owned and controlled. Just what we need, more government control. Yep. I like how, like, on the right wing, they're like, oh, well, if the taxpayer, if the government bails out a corporation, that means they own the corporation, right? I mean, logically, like that's what would happen. Like even the person on the right is like, shouldn't we own these corporations that we've been bailing out for the last 30 years, and it's like, oh, you sweetie pie, Brandon. No, we don't own shit, dude. It's a free for all, man.
Hey, like all those car companies we bailed out, like they're doing pretty good now, right? Do we get like a refund?
Well,
How does
they
that
pay
work?
you back. They paid us back with interest, which happens sometimes during bailouts. Obviously, not with like the most recent PPP loan, as we all have seen. Like a controlling stake in the company, or like the ability to allocate resources and make business decisions. I don't think that that's ever been granted in like my lifetime, ever
No.
been granted to the government. Maybe.
But like when they paid us back, why didn't like Tony get a check?
Right. Well,
That's what that's the mentality.
that was the Bush check, the refund check of $300 that we all got. Here's one more in the here's one more in the conspiracy theory response to this. Mike63 says corporations want to tear down Western civilization and replace it with a corporate consumer society in which culture, traditional values, and national and ethnic identity have been eliminated. Wow, what would that be like, Tony, if we were living in a corporate consumer society? That would be, I think, a Western culture would truly have been destroyed.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. I can't even fathom what that would be
This
like.
is what those sickos want. Those sickos on the left, they want a corporate consumer society. That's exactly what they're known
off.
for.
Yeah. Like it's that thing too where if they would take a second and take a step back, they would realize like they do hate that too, but they don't
Yeah.
realize it's happening right now. But again, I think it's that thing where they think that they're only thinking of corporations, right? They're only thinking of like Disney. They're not but the thing they're trying to do is still going to be a family-owned business no matter how big it gets. Because I have a family and I own it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, they're an example of good capitalism. If they even own a business or whatever, who knows what this person is like in real life. But no, it's because I think they never get a chance to criticize consumer culture. Never. Because that is like their identity. That is most Americans' identity. It's consumer culture, right?
Yeah.
And if you're on the left, you can be like, probably for the most part, pretend that you don't participate in, consumer driven, whatever behaviors. But you likely do, like we all do,
Yeah.
But at least you're aware of it and acknowledging it. Right. But, everybody else, you can't, if you're like for American commerce and capitalism and shit, you don't get to make fun of consumer culture, because that's what capitalism here is built on. That's like what we do now for the last 20, 30 years is consume, right?
If I do that, that means I don't get to post my Chevys are gay memes.
Yeah, they're the fucking die cut decal you bought that says Chevys are gay, So this is your one shot to be like, oh, it's typical of our consumer, or like this is what they've driven us to. They're trying to create a consumer society, which would be bad, Marxism essentially has the same social goal, which explains why corporations are becoming increasingly aligned with China and other communist countries. In short, what's happening is the synthesis of capital and communism. This is so good. We've covered this so much on the show, but it rocks so fucking hard, like how big of ideologues these people are.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, the Marxists are saying the corporations are bad. They've been saying that forever. But now the corporations actually are bad. I guess they're getting bad like the Marxists are bad.
Because of the Marxists, yeah.
Like it's not that the Marxists were right. It's that the Marxists are so wrong that now the corporations are obviously following their orders.
Yeah, and it's their fault. Yes, this is the synthesis of capitalism and communism. This is it right here.
Totally.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's almost like they know too much. They just can't sort it all out. They learn too many words.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. We're all noticing that things aren't going great, and just the ways that people choose to express it, especially the right wing, whose ideologies are extremely incoherent unless they've like adapted outright fascism, which again a lot of them have, which would make sense in like a post in like a resource scarce environment. It would, make logical sense for them. It would be, obviously immoral, but at least it's like, oh no, well, we're going to give all the good stuff to ourselves and make everybody else suffer. At least that makes some coherent sense, but you can't pretend that it's getting harder and harder to pretend that like capitalism will save us on its own.
Yeah.
And that's what these people are going through.
But that's the difference between like, you and I. It's like you guys over there, you're the synthesis of capitalism and communism, where, me over here on the right, we're the synthesis of truth, liberty, righteousness,
Totally.
Freedom, justice.
Yeah.
Good times.
Now tell me which side
of all those things.
Which side would you rather be on?
Yeah.
I think it's a no-brainer. We got to get to these last two responses, which are fucking fantastic. Because not only are we at the point where, like, I didn't know how this Chick-fil-A boycott was going to be perceived, how many people were going to bite in, how many people were going to take this on the same way they've taken on Target and Bud Light. And a not insignificant response to this was, what if being woke is actually God's law? Not like, what if being equal was actually God's doing God's will? And this is not, I'm not talking about libs here trying to do a gotcha. Sherry Coon says, I'm just curious, is this an action to show that God's love covers all? So, meaning diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'm just concerned a boycott will further divide this company from conservatives, when in reality, it may just be doing the Lord's work. I have no idea if this is their ploy, but I think it worth seeing what they're doing with this to see what the motives are. Just my opinion. It would be so incredibly sad to see a sound Christian organization be overcome by pressures of the secular world. Have you ever thought about this, Tony? How being inclusive and making outreach to marginalized community might be doing God's work? I think we need to look into see what like Chick-fil-A has to say about their diversity, equity, and inclusion program.
I mean, like you got to kind of trust that, God is going to bless the businesses that are as, holy as Chick-fil-A, and that there might be like God wouldn't allow them to go in the wrong direction. So this might be God's plan. This might be bigger than us. Have you thought about that? And it's funny because, like, hey, if that's the result of this, if that's what you're getting out of this, then you're saying maybe even God would say equity for all. Then run it.
I'm not exaggerating. It took Chick-fil-A going woke for conservatives to be like, some of this wokeness just sounds like treating people with kindness and respect.
Yeah. It's kind of weird. I mean, this kind of like, this kind of sounds similar to words that I've heard before. We just don't mention those ones anymore for some reason. But it sounds familiar. Maybe God's onto something. They're speaking through Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, other people were like, well, I'll have to see specifically what Chick-fil-A says in their diversity, equity, and inclusion program. But I think what they're saying is common sense. Like,
I think
no. It seems like you'd have to be a pretty irrational being to get upset about something like this.
Yeah, it seems like even just from like a consumerist point of view, from a business point of view, we might just want to like let everyone come buy our chicken sandwiches.
Might want to let them know that we don't hate their fucking guts. Seems like it could be, not just a good marketing gimmick, but also like good for society. It's just like turning into liberals in like real time. We might want to apply this like just to every day. Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't want to give Chick-fil-A credit for going woke. Usually it's just, corporate virtue signaling and making your customers do even more, or your employees do even more bullshit on behalf of your, commitment to anti-racism or whatever. No, this one actually worked. This one actually appears to have made some conservatives sit down, shut up, and have their white asses listen to what Chick-fil-A says.
What other companies need to go woke to really fix this country now? Like what other companies need to publicly hire a diversity, equity head to really fix this country.
See, I don't know. It's hard to say because like I think didn't Cracker Barrel go woke? Didn't like they take some menu items off
Oh,
because of
they
because of
just
wokeness?
they made vegan stuff. Remember?
They added some menu items because
Yeah,
of
they
woke.
added
But I think
Impossible sausage. Yeah,
other people had huge complaints about whatever they had taken off their menu 2 years ago that they still remembered fondly.
Yeah.
And that was like one of the big reasons that they were, this is the last straw. First you took away the, whatever waffle burger. Now you're adding something. Fuck you.
but I think if we can just get like Yeti and like Glock to get on, then we can fix this whole country.
Yeah.
I think if Yeti went woke, it would just be huge.
Yeti
Stanley
or
cups.
what? Okay. What about this? Can we give Duck Dynasty a call? See what imagine getting whatever that fucker's name is, Phil Robertson, to like wash the shoes of a black rapper. That would be sick. I would enjoy that.
Or even just say like out loud, "Hey, everyone's pretty cool. Doesn't really matter where you're coming from, what you look, anything else. Everyone's pretty cool."
Yeah, he's not going to say that though.
No way.
All right, that's the episode, folks. Thanks so much for listening. If you want to support the show and get 2 bonus episodes a week, go to patreon.com/Minion Death Cult, patreon.com/Minion Death Cult. That link will be in the episode's description. Tons of fun stuff over there, including the story about the Marines who got their asses kicked by a bunch of cool
Hell
teens.
yeah.
And you're supporting the show. We don't do ads. We're not sponsored by Chick-fil-A. We're not sponsored by Yeti or whatever other fucking companies we named. We're sponsored by you guys, and the Patreon is how you get free content every week. So please consider supporting us there. And I think that's it, folks. Bye.
Peace. Bye.